Do you know, recently it was announced that the rocker Bruce Springsteen was a billionaire. Yeah, can you imagine? A billionaire. Now, I'm not decrying that because obviously he's worked hard for many years, had a lot of success, and we all like those songs, don't we? Whether we agree with the personal aspects of the things that these rockers now say, you have to remember what you liked when you were a teenager in the moment, you know, Born to Run, Born in the USA, that sort of stuff. And that's fascinating, I think, the fact that obviously he's made that much money. I don't know if you could make that much money in today's world, literally in the music industry, because now you can, I don't know if you know this, but you can download a track for as little as like 14 pence. That's the reason why all these rockers and stars continue to tour, because they make their money from you buying the ticket and going to see them, the merchandise, that sort of stuff. You know, music is now very much a sideline. And it makes me interested to know your thoughts on this, because one of the biggest rockers, who was a royal favourite with none other than the late and beautiful Princess Margaret, Sir Mick Jagger, yes, well, he's just managed to turn down something that a lot of people would say an eye-watering amount. And what has he got to hide? Let me explain. Hi, how are you? Are you all right? We'll have a quick wave, thank you. Yes, now, I know we often talk about rockers and stuff like this on the show because they were a big part, particularly the 60s invasion, weren't they? You know, do you remember the Applejacks? Who remembers that? Have I the right? I saw those on a video the other day. Those early pop videos, yes, a little bit basic, weren't they, when you think, but did we care? Because the music was fabulous, you know. Of course, we've mentioned the likes of Herman's Hermits, the Dave Clark Five. A lot of people loved Judith Durham, of course, from the Sea, because I thought she had a terrific voice. But there were so many ideas of music back in the day, weren't they? But of course, there were the two big ones. You had to like the Beatles or the Stones, and the Stones were seen as the bad boys of rock, weren't they? Yes, Mick Jagger, oh no, you couldn't invite him home for tea, could you? You never know what was going to happen. Ringo, a little bit safer, you know what I'm saying? Now, all these years later, Mick is still as sprightly, rocking across the world as he's always been, has just turned down the opportunity for 20 million for his autobiography. A lot of money, as you can imagine. Now, people are saying, well, why has he turned it down? Well, you know, my thoughts, and I'd love to know yours on this, is, you know, I can understand this. You know, he doesn't really want to spend a long time writing down the stories of his past. He said he's too busy living in the moment, in the present. He doesn't necessarily like looking backwards, and you know, that's up to him, isn't it? But also he turned down the opportunity for billions, in fact, to sell the Rolling Stones back catalogue, of which he would profit more than anybody, simply because, of course, he's one of the main writers alongside the brilliant Keith Richards. What a rocker he is, yeah? Now, what do you think? You know, would you like to see a book about Mick Jagger's life? Because I often think when the people write them themselves, they're never that interesting because they hold back on the real stories. You know, when you think about it, I'd love to know what it was like, the deals they turned down, the deals they did say yes to, the things that they weren't too sure about. You know, if you remember famously at the beginning, they turned down the chance to appear on things like the Royal Variety Performance, stating that, you know, the Beatles could do that, but it wasn't something the Stones would do. Did they really do that? And was their feud really all just a feud for media? Or in fact, was it a true story? Those are the things we'd like to know. But for now, unless I suppose they up the offer, Mick is keeping those famous bee-sting lips stung and not saying a word. Now, I don't know about you, but would you buy it? And knowing the fact that he's being paid 20 million, would it ever be worth the money? Would they ever get a return? Maybe they could turn it into a TV series. Let me know your thoughts and comments, of course, in the section below. Be kind, be respectful, but more importantly, share your 60s, 70s, 80s, or even 40s and 50s music favourites. And would you still want a book from them today? That'd be interesting. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.